Hi there, me again. So, I eventually went in for an angiogram, which know of, didn't know what to expect, didn't really know much about the process. So, the little bit of inquisitive me kept asking the question of what's going on and please could I watch? The overwhelmed part of me was just like, my brain is just so fried and my emotions are so finely tuned in their fragility. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. So I just went with it. So I was taken down to where we needed to go in a wheelchair and had to take all my nail varnish off. Oh my gosh. And I'd just been to my friend's wedding and I still had the nail varnish on and it was really pretty. Anyway, even the nurses liked it and they were quite upset for me to have to take the nail varnish off. And the reason I had to take the nail varnish off is they were thinking because it was a surgical procedure that they'd have to put the clip onto my finger and they wouldn't do it through the nail varnish. I get in there just to finish the nail varnish. So round the hospital, I've got the nurses running around to find the right thing to take the nail polish off because it's gels. So I managed to soak them off. Anyway, I soaked 4 of them off, leaving my thumb. Where do you think they put the clippy thing? You got it. Right on the nail varnish finger. Wounded. Very upset about my nail varnish. Anyway, that aside, who knew I was that girly? We get to where we need to be. I'm put onto a bed and basically given a local anaesthetic into my arm so it numbs my arm, and then they put a camera through my vein up here, and then that allowed it to see the heart, and they put dye through there. And then so I'm lying sort of as if I was facing to you. To my right is the chap that's doing it, and I can't remember the name of that, managing the angiogram. And then to my left of the screen. So I was asked if I could watch, so I managed to turn and watch. And then there's a screen between myself and the doctor who's doing the procedure. Anyway, in he goes, are you all right? Are you all right? And I'm thinking, not really, feeling really quite wretched, a little bit tense, quite ill, really. I suppose a little bit fearful, a little bit frightened, a little bit anxious. Not really sure what to expect. Anyway, he puts it in and I can see on the screen my heart and the arteries and the veins around the heart. And they all start cooing, going, oh, look, they're amazing. They're so curly, aren't they? Beautiful, aren't they lovely? And just very gradually, I'm kind of listening to that and looking, and my arm's really hurting. And he said, could you relax? And I'm like, I really am trying. And I'm doing all my mindfulness and I'm trying to relax in my head. Anyway, I turn round and the screen has dropped onto my arm. And I kid you not, although it was numb, oh my gosh, that really hurts. So I did say, if you could move the screen, I think we might find I'll relax a bit more. So, move the screen. So he's looking and he's chatting to all the nurses and the colleagues that are in the room, and there's lots and lots of stuff going on. And then suddenly he goes, anyone seen that? Yes, we've seen that. And what they found is in my right coronary artery was a tear. And apparently this chap says, I've not seen many, it's quite unusual. Was I an extreme athlete? And I sort of looked myself up and down and thought, not really, no. And he said, typically you'd see this in elite and extreme athletes, you know, your Ironman and people like that. And I was thinking, it's not the body for an Ironman. So it's a tear in a coronary artery. And what they diagnosed me with is a thing called spontaneous coronary artery dissection, which is called SCAD. It's quite rare. They're about 3 to 4 years into the research to understand what it is and how it works and why it happens. And then he said, oh, Dr. Adlam is next door. And Dr. Adlam is the leading researcher and doctor and expert in the field. So that was fantastic to know that he works from Glenfield. So we complete the procedure and this is my diagnosis. Can't take it all in. Can tell you now, at the time couldn't take it all in. Anyway, lovely lady wheeling me back. She said, how are you? And I just spontaneously combusted. Floods of tears, just couldn't speak. Bless her, she took me into a side room, calms me down. And I just didn't understand what was going on. So I get back to my bed and then the next thing I know, so my mum's there, I can't remember, I think Enton was there as well. And Dr. Adlam's research assistant, Dr. Wood, comes down, starts talking to me, asking me if I want to be part of the research, explaining what SCAD is, explaining what's going on, explaining what's going to happen to me. That actually, the long and the short of it was going to self-heal with time, because there's no need for any operations, da da da. And I was just like, oh my gosh, can't get my head around this. And then one of the research assistants came down, and then it started to sink in what was going on. And she spent an hour and a half with us, just answering all my questions. And it is a rare thing. And what saddens me is they're having to fundraise to keep these people in post to research. So I'm now being on a sponsored walk, which I thought didn't know if I'd make the walk because I couldn't even walk up the stairs. I managed to do a 3-mile walk the other week round Coombe Park in Coventry, supported and working with other people who've been through SCAD. And what I've subsequently found out is I have a tear in my right and my left artery and a subsequent injury on one of the arteries. And that I have a 10% chance of it happening again, which means 90% that I'm good. And that through my rehabilitation process, I will probably be able to go back to my exercise and my lifestyle as it maybe was before. What Dr. Adlam did say to me is possibly not climbing Kilimanjaro, so unfortunately that's not going to happen. So the prognosis is good. And so subsequently, after that, I was released into the wild, as they say, from hospital, which I remember coming home, and the only thing I can leave you with on this section of the video is when you watch the films on telly and everything goes like that past you really quickly, that was how I felt coming out of hospital, going in the car and coming home. It just felt the world was going like this around me. So the next phase was to land back into home, back into the real world, having been in hospital for a week. See you later.